No, this was during Cube Draft. I don't know how I
Yeah, we were talking about the
wires.
hymns during Cube.
Yes,
yeah.
no, I was talking to you, Thomas. I'm telling you a story about you.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm telling the listeners in Hippo if you didn't hear us talking. So Thomas and I are talking. I'm like, oh, because Joseph made the funniest balding joke. You said something about like hair
really
falling out.
funny.
And Joseph's like, what's that like? And I was dying laughing. And I mentioned that I looked on hymns because I think my hairline's receding. And for y'all who don't know, I have very, very thick, luscious hair. And so like I kind of noticed like right on like the corners, it looked like it was going back a little bit. And I kind of like panicked immediately because I'm like,
does,
no, like
does start about that age.
And I'm like, this will not be happening to me. And I was just like, look, so I looked at hymns and stuff, and I was looking at like the hair loss prevention stuff, and I was reading about it and like whatever medicine can give you ED. And I'm like, man, that sucks. And I'm like, so you take that and it could give you ED. I'm like, I don't think that's worth it in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was Thomas or I think it was Dan.
It was someone, yeah.
Dan said, yeah, that's what they do. They sell you medicine to fix your hair that with your sex life, and then they sell you medicine that fixes your sex life. And I started cracking up, and I'm like, that's the infinite loop.
It's
I'm like,
the system.
the infinite
presenting
combo.
the loop.
They just presented the loop.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's the hymns infinite combo. You lose your hair, they make your dick don't work, and they sell your medicine to make your dick work again.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Common Ground Podcast. Your favorite boy, Pauper. I am your co-host, Cameron Scott Schindler, joined as always by Thomas, my sweet baby boy Gunn. How are
Bringing
you doing?
it back. I'm good, buddy.
Round three.
We're in the same room for the first time in what feels like a month.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
At least doing the pod, we've hung out since.
Yeah. I mean, we are friends outside the podcast.
I'm good.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. Y'all know
Whoa.
that. No, we had a good weekend. You'll hear about that at the end of the episode, which we talked about before the episode.
Whoa.
How are you doing?
Timey-wimey, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, something, Doctor Who. No,
okay.
I'm I was like, you don't get this.
Do you smell toast?
No, I swear.
Slimy timeline.
Yeah, slimy, timey-wimey, wibbly wobbly. No, I'm good. I'm having a good time. I had a very busy week this week, but
Good. Right.
packing all the stuff in before a couple weeks off in a couple weeks to go see the fam.
That's
for
fun.
Christmas.
That's fun.
Yay.
And you're gone for like a week, right?
2
So,
weeks.
2 weeks.
I'll be gone for 2 weeks.
That's nice. That'll be
Saved
good.
all my PTO for it.
That's good. That'll be good. Are we? I guess we can talk about that. I was gonna say,
Yeah,
like,
we'll
we're
talk
doing
about
a
that
remote
after.
episode.
I was hoping we would
Yeah,
chat about that
cool.
after, yeah.
Also joined by James, likes to ride his scooter in our parking lot of our apartment. Hieronymus, what's going on? I saw you outside.
You got a scooter?
man. Yeah, he was scooting around when I rolled in today.
What are you talking about?
How are you doing?
I'm so lost. I'm confused. That's what I am.
I'm just painting a picture for the audience. That's all.
What color's your scooter, James?
I don't own a scooter.
Cameron.
There's worse things to make up, I guess.
That's very true, actually.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
really
really
true.
confused, if anything.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
on 2 wheels.
No. 4 reels for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Today, 105, we got a little cool listener email from our friend Sky about like some mirror match stuff, so we'll dive into that. We'll read the email here in a second, but first, Thomas, you got any keeping of house to do?
We do. We have a number of tournaments coming up that wanted to catch y'all up to speed on. The first of which is coming up this very Saturday as you're listening to this. If you're in our area or in the Louisville, Kentucky area, there is a win-a-duel going on at Through the Decades on Saturday, December 13th. I'll have the info for all of these events in the show description, so you can check out more details there. But it's at 1 o'clock at Through the Decades in Louisville. A number of us will be there. James will be there. I have to work, unfortunately, but yeah, James will be there.
Come beat me.
I think Anna will be there. I think Mr. Bitter's going. There's a whole Nashville crew that's going to go up and play.
Maybe I should take my friends there. Be like, hey, this is Louisville. Side note, I'm going to play Mr. real quick.
just
Give me a few hours.
I know y'all.
just
I know
hang.
y'all came to visit Nashville. You should check out Louisville.
Yeah, check out
bro.
Louisville. Why not? But first place is a tropical island. Second place. Yeah, second place is a Badlands, which is sick.
Sick.
Hell
And
yeah.
then a bunch of store credit to the rest of top 8, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
So a very cool event going on up there.
I'm very interested.
This Saturday. Also, this Sunday, this Sunday, if you're in the Chicago area at Dice Dojo on Sunday, December 14th, they're having an event. You can check out the information below. It's called Pauper Wonderland. It's $25 to play, a 24-player cap, or they're hoping to have folks bring in goods to donate to their local shelter.
Which
This
is
for
really
a collection of
cool.
goods will happen.
So like canned goods, diapers, deodorant.
Yeah,
That's really
for the
cool.
it's a place called Common Pantry, commonpantry.org. You can go to learn more for that local area's local
And if you're
nonprofit there.
If you're listening from Chicago, and I guess you probably do play Pauper if you're listening to the podcast.
I
If
would
you can't
hope.
make the tournament from Chicago, go donate something anyway there. That's like a good
that would be
cause.
really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole a list in the pinned section in our Discord. You can join our Discord if you're not already joined. If you'd like to see more details, again, I'll have the links in the show notes below. But we also have a bunch of these links in the events section on our Discord. I have events pinned in the pinned messages for anything upcoming. Our friends at the Upstate New York Pauper League, they're running another charity event on December 20th. I'll include more information in the links below as well. A shout out, local judge Steven Komodo Drake in Discord found out that there's not one Pauper 1K coming up at the SCG Con event in Atlanta in the new year. There's 2 Pauper 1Ks happening at the Atlanta SCG Con event January 9th through the 11th. There is one Pauper 1K happening on Friday, January 9th at 10 a.m. And there is another Pauper 1K happening on Sunday the 11th at 9 a.m.
And what's cool about those too, they are the tournaments, like the events aren't free, but the actual SCG con itself, it's free to walk in. Any event SCG runs, they do that. It's free to walk in the door. I like that model there.
Yeah.
So go
There's
check it out.
vendors,
Yeah.
artists, other larger events going on. If you're interested in playing like standard or
I mean,
monitor or anything like
especially
that.
if you're in the area, just
Yeah.
pop in.
Just pop in, say hello. We are considering going in some capacity. 1 or 2 of us, maybe. We'll figure it out. I know a bunch of our competitive grinder friends are planning on playing the standard event, playing the main event.
At
so.
least 0 to 3 of us will be there.
Yeah, 0 to 3. 0 to 3 of us will be there. I think the floor is I would go down to play just the Sunday Pauper event, I think. But part of me wants to play the main event standard. But last piece of housekeeping is, of course, the Common Ground Cup. It's the 3rd Common Ground Cup coming to you Saturday, January 31st at Game Night in Columbia, Tennessee. We're really hoping we can hit that cap of 80 folks to come and play. We've already got a bunch of tickets sold, so hop on there if you haven't already bought your ticket. You're interested. I will hopefully have hotel information for a nice discounted hotel block very soon. I'm going to double check with our friend on that within the next week or 2, and I'll share that info in Discord as well. It's going to be a great time. We'll be doing coverage and commentary, so we'll also be live streaming the event on Twitch and YouTube, so you can follow along if you are not able to come join us. But we hope, if you're able to, that you will.
Facts.
It's going to be fun.
I'm also excited to have Tristan in the booth with us.
Yeah, we haven't.
That's very
I
exciting.
don't know if we've officially announced, but I am not going to be in the booth this time around because I want to focus a little bit more on production direction. And I think I may have mentioned that Han is going to be on board to also do some more media and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really going to expand kind of what we can do for the actual stream, and also maybe help give. I don't know if Austin's going to be judging or not, but give him
I
some
would
extra
assume so.
support if I'm out
Yeah.
there to help with that stuff too. So.
I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll be like, hey, has anybody asked you to do this yet?
that would be good. We should check in on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Tristan Ida, So IMBA Galade on Magic Online. He's like a pioneer modern grinder, limited grinder on Magic
Funny
Online.
dude.
Very funny guy.
Yeah, he's just funny.
He actually
Great
on
people.
the famous It Shuffles In clip was Tristan and our friend Spencer in the booth.
Oh, yeah.
For that one.
Yeah, they were in commentary.
For Cameron's It
And I was
Shuffles In
yelling.
moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, Common Ground Cup 3. Come have a great time. There was a lot of housekeeping, but I feel bad that I feel like I've just kind of like left that on the sidelines the last couple
No,
weeks. So
you're
thank y'all
good,
for
you're
your
good.
patience.
You're good. For sure. Who wants to dive in and read this email from Sky?
I just did a bunch of talking. So one of you read.
Hippo, do you want to read it? I got it pulled up if you want me to read it.
I also have it pulled up.
Hit me.
Alrighty. So, hi, goofballs. That's us. We're the goofballs.
Oh, no way.
A friend and I were talking about mirror matches recently, and I thought it could be an interesting thing to hear y'all talk about if you haven't. I think people often chalk up mirror matches up to who draws better, but there's definitely so much more room for skill expression, outplaying your opponent, and understanding your role in each game. And here's some interesting things I'd love to hear. For example, what are some important things to consider in mirror matches generally? I know it definitely depends on the specific mirror, but there's probably some good fundamentals for folks to keep in mind. And then what are y'all's favorite mirror matches in Pauper? They say that I think red mirrors and blue mirrors are always a blast. I think red madness mirrors are really fun, and I can imagine the fairies mirror is super interesting as well. I'd love to hear y'all talk about things that you've learned in your retrospective favorite best mirror matches. What are y'all's least favorite mirror matches in Pauper? And I want to hear Cameron talk about the fog mirror.
LMAO.
It seems pretty miserable. Can we make him play fog mirrors for an entire weekend and document his experience?
Actually, let's start there. I did not do that, and I will not do that. So,
that would be some really funny content, though.
yeah,
That would be funny content.
You gotta record it or whatever. Just make a bit out of it. Just
Yeah.
It's just like Jack Nicholson.
You're just
like,
strapped
start-
into a chair,
Yeah.
and
Start
you
losing
have to
your
play
mind.
fog. But we cycle through a bunch of us
I was
playing
about to say it's
fog.
also just like torture to whoever I'm playing against.
No. We'll cycle through. We'll keep your opponents fresh, but you have to play it all
I'm gonna get
weekend
damn
long.
good at figuring it out. Then
You probably will.
If I had to guess for that, it's just whatever creatures you have in the sideboard, you probably bring them in.
Probably
And trim fogs.
because like your fogs are bad.
Yeah. I don't know, but if they
Who
do
gets
that,
the bigger
then your
crypt?
fogs
Who gets the
get
bigger
better.
crypt rats?
Yeah, it probably is just who gets the bigger crypt rats. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not going there. So do you want to start on what are some important things to consider in mirror matches? Generally, I know it definitely depends on specific mirrors, and there's some kind of general fundamentals for folks to keep in mind. I think it's really hard to speak in general on that because it's very matchup. It's funny saying matchup dependent. It's very deck dependent. This is going to sound pretty obvious and a little dumb, but the most general thing I could say before like diving into specific decks, which we can do, I think that'd be kind of fun. That's how I kind of took it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about y'all, but knowing your deck is really important.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty wild. I think whoever knows their deck the best will probably just have an initial leg up.
Agreed.
Once like you know your deck really well, you can kind of just think about what you don't want to see from your opponent. And then knowing your deck, it's kind of like, okay, which one of these cards screws me over the most? When I was thinking, Thomas, you and I played the Mono Blue Fey match, Mirror, and I've played that at our locals once before, maybe twice, way back in the future. And that is very Spell Stutter Sprite, and if that can sneak in against a ninja, that matchup's a lot of holding back blockers, because certain things you're fine with them ninjutsuing, like, okay, you want to scry to, that I don't really care, but I can't let that Spell Stutter Sprite be unblocked. There's a lot of hard casting your 2/1s, and just if you're okay with walking into a counter spell or Spell Stutter Sprite with certain cards.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of talked about that too with the later in the email about counter wars and baiting out counter spells. I feel like that's pretty important into the blue matches.
I think you're right. I think it does come down to a lot of deck knowledge and who might have the upper hand there. I think another general thing to think about is think about how you would approach the game. I know we're talking about like how do we do that in this question, but think about just generally speaking. If you're like, okay, let's say we're in a burn mirror. Okay, like the madness. Okay, maybe you want to start off with you think the generic start is Epicure into maybe grab the prize, discard Snacker, or put a highway robbery on plot. That's like a very, very common turn 1, turn 2 out of the deck. If you want to be the much faster player, you might want to look at a starting hand in the mirror that can go Faithless Looting on 1, dump 2 Snackers in the bin, and then on turn 2 play one of your draw twos, get 2 snackers in, and then you're ahead on the snacker race. Whereas if your opponent, if like say your opponent is on the play, they go turn 1 Voldaire and Epicure, just like past like the generic start, and you go, okay, Faithless Looting, pitch and draw 2, discard 2 snackers, go, we'll have another draw 2 in the wings. You are already ahead. And so thinking a little outside the box of when do you need to break serve from the generic start of the deck versus when do I really need to put the pedal to the metal. And I think that is where a lot of the context comes into play that I think you're getting at, Cameron, of like, it is hard to give a lot of general advice because so much is so context dependent. Whereas against like Gardens or a random affinity deck with a bunch of Nile Spellbombs, you might not want to have that very fast snacker start, if then pitch 2 snackers that you're not going to get back right away, because then they could just be, all right, Nile Spellbomb, crack, they're never like hold it up or just crack it right away. You lose that whole tempo advantage and you lose your snackers.
Jam, always jam, make them have it.
Right. So, but again, that's not quite a mirror match, but the different things to do in different contexts.
The Todd Anderson way, always jam.
Always jam. Make them have it.
Yeah.
Make them have it. I do like making them have it.
I do also like making.
I don't do that in practice. in practice a ton.
Hippo, before diving into specific decks, do you have any advice or any, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like Bolt the Bird, let's say heuristics. Do you have any like heuristics or advice?
For mirror matches?
Yeah, before diving straight into certain times.
There's the, as you both have stated, there's the generic, like, know your deck better than your opponent. That does give you the initial leg up. Be comfortable, like have played it, like have played the mirror, like understand how it plays out. I don't think enough people do that necessarily. Like
no,
they just
want. True. You don't practice a lot of mirror matches.
No,
at least when I play decks, I don't.
No, you want to play against other decks. You want to see what it feels like against other things.
Right.
So you should play, but you should have somebody sit across from you and play something the same thing that you're playing, so that you understand how that it's going to get played.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
I like that. And one more broad thing I want to go into. I feel you were asking more. A lot of people chalk it up to, well, they drew better or play draw. And I do think there are certain key cards in each matchups that do matter. And I feel if one player draws X copies and the other player draws 0 copies, well, the person who drew more copies is definitely 1 or
advantaged,
3 legs up higher. But in mirror matches, you can get a lot of advantage in deck building. So before it even starts, so there's certain decks, like Mono Blue Fae, going back to that example real quick, the Stormgeist, the 3 mana
Stormbound Geist,
the 3 mana 2/1 Undying flyer, 2/2, and it can only block creature flying. Like that was really good in the mirror. So just having that in the mirror match is like super good. Having more Ponza style effects in the Girl Ponza mirror can be really, really good. If your mono red, or like especially the mono red madness, if you have a little bit more targeted removal, that can be really good. Make their gutter snipes not very good. Terror, if you were playing Tormod's Crypt and they're not, if you're playing Dragon Wings and just so you can break parity and get in the air, that's really good.
I have an exact example for this. In my mono red madness sideboard, I have 2 copies of Campfire.
That's insane.
I want an advantage. I want an advantage in the mirror.
That's awesome.
It's been pretty good.
I'm here for that.
That's funny. I keep
Dude, Campfire's a great card.
Campfire is very strong. I did think of one other thing, and this maybe in terms of like more advanced theory, we might touch on some more of this later on. But another generic thing is that I think I was starting to get to, but I didn't quite articulate it right when I said my first part of paying attention to when you think your opponent has made a less than optimal play based on your experience with the list. Not only in 2 ways. One, clock it as, does this mean I have more experience with the deck than my opponent does? Or it's also important to, I like to approach games of Magic where you sit down and you assume your opponent is very good at Magic and they are making the plays that they're making for a very good reason. Because otherwise you can get tripped up, or you can. It's not fair to make assumptions about people in general. Like there's a lot of layers there. But I think generally you'll have more success if you approach matches of Magic assuming your opponent is making good plays for good reasons. If the other side of that spectrum is, maybe they're not as experienced, or maybe they are experienced and they're doing something a little off base because they're trying to get at a different angle, kind of like the starting, like faithless looting a bunch of snackers quicker than you normally would type of deal. Like leaving the snackers in the bin can be dangerous against a lot of other decks, but in a mono red madness mirror, especially post board or pre board, if I don't know if you're bringing your relics in the mirror, maybe, but relics are also bad for you. So I don't know.
I had a specific example.
Or fairy macabres, I guess, but yeah,
like in that, just watch out for weird plays and
what
could be in their hand because of this. They did X.
Right,
now
like you have all the same cards, so it's easy to think of. What are these cards that they could have?
They played X, so I think they have Y in their hand. That's one of the best skills I think a Magic player can learn.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard.
I don't know how you teach that, or you just obsess over the game and play lots of games.
That's how Nathan Storer makes his coaching money. That's like the biggest thing he teaches.
And honestly, I think what helped me learn that skill is when I was testing decks or testing and like, I want to test this deck for RCQ season or an RC or a Spotlight series. Playing games with intentionality, not just to play games. I feel like people can get kind of hung up and just practice games where it's like, who cares? It's a practice game. It doesn't matter. But playing with your hands revealed, and you really like start to learn why people are holding up stuff. Before we did the podcast and we were obsessed with beating each other for the Pauper monthlies. I remember I would do this against like Terror a lot. I would sleeve up a new deck and I would go on whatever deck building website and I would play my deck in paper, and then they have like the test hand feature.
Yeah.
And they have like, you can like drag cards to the board and stuff. Yeah. And I would play against like Mono Blue Terror or Dimir Terror and just
assume they have like the best hand.
Well, no, I just draw a random hand. I play both sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And just two windows. Yeah.
Well, no, I have one window and I have my paper cards in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
So I like my laptop in front of me. And
I've done it with two windows digitally. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that honestly helped me a lot. It's like, oh, this would be really bad to run this into a counter spell in an IRL match. So I just need to like keep in mind, can I afford this to get countered or whatever? And you can kind of think about that with you can bring that in the mirror matches too.
Mm-hmm.
Can I afford for this to happen? And you can kind of learn what cards are important in the matchups by doing that, I believe, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Brad Nelson had this advice that I learned. I think you've also heard this, Cameron, that Patrick Sullivan shared this, that how Brad Nelson used to approach Standard was he would simply memorize the first four. Yeah, James does this too. He would memorize the first 4 turns of every meta deck within some reason, like what the handful of usual starts would look like for every deck up to turn 4, because then after that point, so much can happen in a game of Magic that's just not worth it. The game it's broken in so many different ways from there. But if you can memorize the first 4 turns of a given deck, you can start to suss out what they have, why are they leading on, like in my example of turn 1, Faithless Looting, draw 2, pitch 2 snackers. Well, they must have a draw 2 in their hand to slam on turn 2. Like imagine if it's a third snacker, like grab the prize, discard third snacker. Like that's quite a start. Mm-hmm. So starting to think about those things. And I do think for mirror matches specifically, it's easier to kind of work that into your process too of, well, what would I do in those first few turns? Why would I be making these decisions? Just kind of personalize it and bring it back to, I think it's easier to think about think in the context of why would I make this decision, and then transfer it over to your opponent and be like, why would they make this decision? Because I think there's some ambiguity of like projecting it onto them. But I think for me, it's like, why would I do it is kind of like asking the same question, but it's for me anyway, it's easier for my brain to like process that.
Again, try to suss out what cards they have in their hands. Like because of that. We can just dive into specific decks if y'all want to. Sure. Because that kind of reminds me of where do you have anything else to add before we?
That's good.
Do we just want to start with Mono Blue Terror? Just popular
sure.
decks?
Yeah.
The because the heuristic of not here, I guess it's not a heuristic, but why did they do X, therefore Z or whatever, that kind of remind me of this. If you both have 2 terrors in play and maybe both have 4 cards in hand, if they just swing their 2 terrors and your 2 terrors, what could that mean? Well, are their last 2 card or their last few cards, is it just terror again?
A couple more snakes.
Yeah, and so they want you to trade.
Is it post board and they have Piracy Charm and they can eat one of the snakes you block with?
Exactly. So there's a lot that could be from that. and that was kind of just my example on that for Terror. But in general, in that matchup, I think some important cards in that. Funny enough, Delver gets a lot better in that, and even though a lot of the lists have been cutting Delvers, I think they're pretty good in the mirror.
They're quite good. I really, really liked the top 8 list from Pauper with 3 Boomerangs and 3 Disrupt. I thought that was very smart. Disrupt actually really good against Madness on the like gutter snipe turns, because they don't have extra mana to pay the 1 when you're like fire blasting at that point.
No.
So Disrupt actually like pretty good against that stuff.
And Pauper's has been tighter and tighter, so like the disruption
still good against the draw twos.
Yeah, exactly. But disruption Force Spikes have been pretty good.
The Boomerangs were really good against the tap land decks. I like that configuration.
The Demon Furies, people are moving away from those.
Yeah, I've never liked them very much.
I do think probably not one of the only good matchups, but they seem good in the mirror.
Sure.
Because if you're Terror stall of Terrors, you can tuck one away for 2 turns, and that can be just enough. Or tuck one Thought Scour, but if you just tuck it away for 2 turns while you guys are stalled, that is just plenty of time to get through with those. But key cards from that can be those Delvers, like, so whatever tricky stuff you have, like either that be Boomerangs or the Demon Furiers, and of course snakes. Draw more snakes than them.
Because I don't think you want to get into a spot where you rush your first snake without counterspell backup to protect it getting through. Because if you go like the first couple turns setting up with Thought Scours, Brainstorm, maybe you have a Delver, maybe you don't, but maybe you're in a spot where you can set up a turn 3 snake, but you don't have Dispel, Spell Pierce, or Counterspell up as a backup. You try to push your snake through, they counter it, like just maybe straight up Counterspell, then they untap, and then they like Thought Scour snake, or Thought Scour 2 snakes if they had a really good Thought Scour on the first turn. You're opening it's about opening yourself up to those tempo swings that are really hard to come back from as a mono blue deck. Mono blue has a really hard time outside of stuff like Demon Fury or Boomerang, has a really hard time with dealing with stuff once it hits the board. So I think that's something to keep in mind.
And the Murmuring Mystics, if you untap with one of those, that's pretty GG. You can just block snakes infinitely and be able to just fly over snakes. So that can be a big problem. Any sideboard cards that are specifically good in that matchup? You mentioned the Piracy Charm, being able to do that. I mentioned Tormod Script.
Tormod Script is interesting if you're on it. I think the Dispels make the mirror match a little bit more interesting too, because then you have more access to protect against their counter spells, and so you with less mana, so you can set those fights up a little bit earlier.
Do you like Force Spikes more or less in the mirror? Because I feel like those can be pretty tight in Counter Wars, but it could be pretty hard to snap. Like it's a.
I think they're fine. I think
the deck operates in such low mana, like that it has to be just like it has to be good. Yeah. Like right, like the deck that operates on like no mana.
It's very good turns 1 through 3, and then after that you kind of have to set it up to be good with as like your second counter spell in a fight or something.
Yeah, but
which is very doable.
Is likely to happen in Mono Blue Mirror, and games go later, and I've seen games like Terror games where they start fading out, and you just need that Lorien reveal to get you back in, and maybe if they slam that with 5 lands, you can get you. Yeah. But maybe like the Dispels are just better because you're just guaranteed to protect a Terror through a counter spell. Or
it depends, because Force Spike can also counter a snake. That is the Fairies angle with the Fairies players that are playing Force Spike these days. That's kind of one of the angles for Force Spike for them. With Force Spike and counterspell is their straight up answer for Terror. So kind of taking some of that logic as the actual Terror deck, I think, is important too.
Okay, yeah.
It's close. Like, I would likely, if I was playing a playset of Force Spikes and I was sideboarding in the mirror, I'd probably trim a couple in favor of the Dispels. I'd still want them occasionally, but they're not going to be at their absolute best, I think.
Sleep of the Dead, sorry. Another really, really good card.
Sleep of the Dead, very, very good. Yeah, Sleep of the Dead continues to impress.
Yeah, that's another card where...
5 mana, tap your Terror down.
Yeah, exactly. Just worth it. Yeah. If you're just in that Terror stall, and they counter it, it kind of feels bad for them, not you.
Yeah, you're like, okay, cool. I'll do this again later.
Yeah. See you again next turn.
I love Sleep of the Dead. What a cool card.
Is really cool.
Definitely. Some people are not playing with Tormod scripts and they're 75 in Terror. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to slide Graveyard Hate into that sideboard sometimes, but.
Any other thoughts on Mono Blue Terror?
I think that covers it.
Okay. Jund Wildfires.
This is one that I think is probably my favorite of the more top level decks.
Mid-range mirrors, I feel like, are always very interesting.
That's why I love the avenues that happen. I love the thought patterns that occur.
There's a lot of skill expression to be had.
Yeah, this is
Both
kind of my
players.
area that I really enjoy playing.
Both players tend to play a lot of draw twos and draw a lot of their cards. What are some like main board cards that are like good key features? Like what you want to see the most of?
Blood
if you're playing
Fountain
the mirror?
is the best card, I think.
I can agree with that.
Blood
Refurbished
Fountain.
Miller seems really good, just inherently being.
Yeah, if you can, the earlier you can get one down, the better. Blood Fountain is insane. I think the Gixians are very good. Because if one goes unchecked, then it's just kind of game over.
I guess with like Blood Fountains too, making equally a Nihil Spell Bomb important because they'll have different ways of buying it back with like either Blood Fountains, like you said, a Pulse Maraska. So just having Nihil Spell Bombs to be like, no, I killed your 2 Writhing Chrysalis. They're actually dead. You're not getting them back this time. Yeah. Because that can be a problem. We've said this a lot. Like the first 2 Writhing Chrysalis is pretty manageable, but the next 2 can be really, really hard to beat. Back to the refurbished thing. I feel like that'd be pretty good because it's the only creature that really dodges Karkland Shaman in the deck. Karkland Shaman Toxin Analysis can wipe away any board. So I feel like in that mirror, it's really hard to overcommit to non-flyers on the board in fear of them just untapping Karkland Shaman your board away. And you have enough random crap lying around that the Toxin Analysis isn't really necessary for the board. It might be, so your cast downs might not be able to tag another Karkland Shaman. You can tag a response to the Toxin Analysis, but that might not be enough. They might have 5 artifacts sitting there to kill your Chrysalis.
There's a lot going on. I'm going to say again, this is the mid-range epitome of mid-range. The games are going to go long.
Cleansing Wildfire on turn 2.
Yeah.
Duh.
Getting ahead. Getting ahead is good in mirrors, it seems.
Yeah.
And these mid-range mirrors too, there's plenty of game to get back ahead to.
So
absolutely.
if you fall behind, it's not the most end of the world. Like if they get an early Gixian Infiltrator and it's pretty big, you can draw a cast down and get right back in the game. You can draw a Karkland Shaman, Toxin Analysis, get right back in the game. Reverse Miller, just making them discard
what a good card.
and then clocking them down. You put a Hydra on that thing and suddenly their Chrysalises aren't able to block it, or they can't trade with their refurbished millers. That can be really gross.
Yeah, Nyxborn Hydra continuing to just be a house.
Yeah, we've seen more decks pick up that, like Cascade decks even playing that. So that's been pretty funny. We're like the ramp decks just really big onto that.
Yeah.
And cutting, we saw a lot of Agrul decks cutting
boarding parties and Altasaurs and
just go up on Nyxborn Hydras.
Yeah.
The card's great.
Sideboarding in this deck, I am interested. The Troublemaker Oof stuff seems good.
It's good.
It's a body, plus you can hit one of their lands.
You nuke a land,
fountains.
which is very good. Blood Fountain. Yeah, as you mentioned, Blood Fountains. I like Duress. I like taking Duress.
Yeah, it has some spots.
Yeah. What do you tag him with Duress, you think?
I think you want to take their draw too, so you don't want them getting ahead of you.
You could also potentially tag a Wildfire early if you have a Swamp or Vault of Whispers.
Whatever their turn 2 way to get ahead of you is, like if you can slam a Duress on one, it's really good. Same with later. Like if you can snag a Blood Fountain with it, like at any point, that's incredible.
Yeah,
I don't think I would bring Duresses in the mirror. Just me personally, just because like
that's
the heuristic I have for Modern playing like mid range mirrors, you cut your thought seizes.
That is true. I just think that they hit higher here because the format is so much slower. Like your spells are not always coming in on time. I think there's just ways to get around it. I think if you just like the chances you see one and it tags one good thing like that you don't have to worry about is pretty good to me.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to be 1-for-1ing in this because it's going to be hard to hit. My Duress is probably not going to hit a Blood Fountain Heal Spell Bomb. And I really care about those spells.
That's right.
So I feel like those are kind of hard to hit on those. Again, hitting a draw 2 is not bad. Like the deck usually plays at least 5 draw 2s and then 4 cast downs. So hitting one of those isn't the worst thing.
Maybe if you're on the play.
Yeah.
But still.
Any of the artifact interaction, again, like if you're playing with Troublemaker Oof, you're a little ahead on that. Heritage Reclamation, I still think you bring in just even if you hit one of, again, it feels bad if you're just hitting one of 2 cards off their blood
You
fountain.
could even just blow up the blood fountain when they don't have mana too.
That is true. Yeah, if they're not tapped out of the mana.
Can also destroy the Nyxborn Hydra straight up.
Ooh, yeah, that is pretty good. I like that. That is always a option.
Modal cards.
Crypt Incursion is a card they still play, right?
Occasionally,
some copies,
I saw a sideboard with it earlier today.
Some copies, some list, some list plays some number of copies. There we go. We got there. That's one you would probably just have to practice, and I feel like general Magic practice could help you a lot with that too. Just if you know.
Understanding 2-for-1s, understanding it goes back to who's the beatdown here too. Like I remember we talked about in mid-range mirrors. Like James, you had a mid-range mirror with our friend Matt, with John Wildfires actually, where you got a very fast. It was a triple refurbished familiar start.
Yeah, I mulligan to into Oblivion. I was like, this hand is abysmal if I don't draw exactly like Vault of Whispers.
Yeah,
and your Vault of Whispers, like, oh great, cool.
Yeah,
if I drew Blood Fountain, I drew Blood Fountain. I was like, all right, this hand's great.
Yeah,
and just turned it on immediately.
Incredible.
Yeah. Would you bring in Breath Weapon in a copy of those to oppose refurbished Gixian Infiltrator starts, or if they just go like Karkland Shaman 2?
It's an interesting thought, but I don't think that's what the games are ultimately.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what the Breath Weapon is truly going to solve. Like maybe it's to some extent what the games end up being about in some percentage of games, but I think the Breath Weapon will be weaker on average than those games happening. I think.
Yeah, I guess mulligan for refurbished familiars.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
That's probably good advice for most refurbished familiar decks.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel good to cast down.
No,
that's for sure.
No, trust me, as someone who has done it multiple times.
Any other Jund Wildfire thoughts on that?
I think it just comes down to playing good Magic, which is, you could say that generally about everything, but especially for mid-range mirrors. Just make sure, you are, again, like Cameron said, playing with intention.
Who would dare? Mono Red Madness. I feel like this.
Mono Red. We touched on some of this.
Yeah, the red aggressive mirrors can be extremely, extremely tricky. Yep. It just lends itself. You want to be the aggressor, but obviously, just it breaks. Sometimes you're not the aggressor. And
right.
Trying to pivot into that. When you were talking about just making not suboptimal plays, making different plays you normally wouldn't make. Maybe they play Voldaren Epicure on turn 2, and on their end step, you don't bolt it because you want to see if they play Gutter Snipe on turn 3, because you just need a bolt Gutter Snipe at that point.
I don't think you should ever be bolting Voldaren Epicure, to be fair. Yeah.
So it's a 1/3, yeah?
It's a 1/1.
Oh, okay. Voldaren, I'm sorry, I meant
Flame Breather?
Yeah, if they play a Flame Breather on turn 2, maybe you give them a turn with it and see if they have a Gutter Snipe.
Yeah.
In that case, if you only have like one bolt, I feel that matchup is a lot of you really want to draw more draw twos than them.
Yes, I think this matchup is another one where
I hate chucking up to that.
But. No, but in your thing about Gutter Snipe though is I don't think that it's worth waiting for the Gutter Snipe in a lot of spots, because this is one of the matchups where when you play your Gutter Snipe, you probably want to win that turn.
Yeah, you're not
chaining
not
a bunch of
passing.
spells.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there are some decks where you can get away with that. Like if you can resolve it against a blue deck, if you can elves, any of the green like mana dork combo decks, stick as long as you don't die the next turn. But
not much to do anyway.
Yeah, certainly not.
What are you gonna do? Hold up lightning bolt?
Certainly not pre-board.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes if they only have two creatures and the spy, you can get one of their creatures so they don't dread return. That's could come up. But generally I think if you can, like, bolting the creatures is fine. Searing Blaze out of the board for the list that run it can be fine, but it means that you're taking out the Flame Breather and or Gutter Snipe on your turn with landfall trigger, so it's a little dicey. But to the Gutter Snipe point, I think this is a matchup where Gutter Snipe is likely to die on site, because I think that most people are going to play scared of the Gutter Snipe Flame Breather. So I think getting value and taking care of whichever one you can as soon as you can is good. So maybe you do take out the Flame Breather. If you can afford to keep up pressure and hold up a bolt for one of them, great. But ultimately, I think this is going to feel a lot like two ships passing in the night because the deck has gotten so efficient and so fast. It can deal damage very, very quickly. So I think this is one of the matchups where Sneaky Snacker really, really shines, because if you can get a couple Sneaky Snackers before they can, it will fly over the Epicure's Flame Breathers and Gutter Snipes.
Yeah,
and
if you get in 4 to 8 damage, like
right, that's just you're so far ahead just on that metric alone. So I think being very aggressive on Sneaky Snackers, and understanding that to an extent it is a race to see who can burn the other one out, who can burn each other out first. So in that way, it will feel sometimes like whoever draws more burn and pingers got there, and that is just kind of how Madness works in a way. But I think think about how you're going to maximize every point of damage. Like if you can survive to turn 5, play Gutter Snipe, Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast, like all in one go. Yeah. Like great. Maybe don't just fire off the bolt on turn 1. Just like, all right, cool, start the clock, untap, go, because you're really going to want to make sure that you are keeping up with their card advantage as well.
I can see a lot of these games ending on turn 4 from, okay, I'm finishing out with a Gutter Snipe, Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast, Flashback, Lava Dart, or whatever, and that's game from there. And there was no opportunity to bolt the Gutter Snipe or whatever.
Right.
Searing Blade seems nice because I like whenever you're able to board manage and deal damage at the same time. Like, bring in Smash Smithereens against artifact decks. I've always liked that feeling where put them down on that and continue to do damage. Question: so would you bring in Searing Blazes then in the mirror?
I might bring in a couple, but that's iffy. I mentioned it as an option, but I don't think I would be very high on it, just because it's only killing something for a respectable amount of damage to also deal them 3, because you really don't want to be casting it for 1 and 1. You really want to cast it for 3 to the creature and 3 to their face. So it basically means that it's a sorcery in the mirror in many cases. It's especially very good against the creature decks like White Weenie, Elves, some amounts of the Spy decks and things like that, to just take out mana dorks, take out early blockers, things like that. But in the mirror, I think it being 2 mana is also a little tough, where it's situational and it's 2 mana when you already want to dedicate 2 mana to your Flame Breathers and draw 2s. So I would not fault anyone for bringing a couple copies in, because it is good at taking out their pinger and then continue on your way.
Do you bring in copies of Relics then for Sneaky Snackers?
I think if I were playing, I would be on Fairy Macabres and not Relics, because I don't want to exile my Sneaky Snackers.
Fair.
I would consider bringing in Fairy Macabres.
Okay.
Of course, I'd also be bringing in Campfires, but I'm insane. So.
In this world, you have 2 Campfires, 2 Fairy Macabres.
Yeah.
What are you cutting?
I would be cutting my 1 main deck and the Festivities, the one Chain Lightning I have, because I don't want them to ever pay red and send it back to me.
No. Okay, so far we're at 0 cards from the stock list.
Correct. I would like, on the stock list, I'd trim on like a Faithless Looting,
an Epicure?
And you could actually, you could probably just cut the Epicures.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 Epicures, a Faithless Looting, and a Fiery Temper or something like that. I think that could be totally fine. Or just all the Epicures. I don't know. I love Epicure, but
yeah.
I mean, it does
your Lava Darts here.
It does help you win the Snacker War in a way.
Yeah, that is true. Can do that. Yeah, maybe you do keep those in.
And it is also just really, really good with the pingers and Gutter Snipe. It's close. I don't know. It's tough. I could be totally off base here, but that's just kind of my gut feeling.
I always, in the Madness, the Rakdos Madness, I always trim
the Epicures.
1 to 2 Sneaky Snackers.
Yeah.
Just because I assume they're going to bring in some graveyard hate. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's something you would consider here or not in the mirror, just depending on what their graveyard hate looks like.
If I know what their list looks like, maybe, but yeah, I think the Snackers are really important in this mirror in particular.
Okay. Hippo, do you have any thoughts on this mirror?
I personally do not, because I have not played it. Therefore, I have no knowledge of how it actually plays out.
That is fair.
I will not give false information. Information that I don't personally believe.
Mm-hmm. Information I don't personally believe.
Fair.
The Rally deck, real quick. In the Festivities seems really
That card's got to be very
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And some decks, I think they're kind of straying. Well, this list I'm looking at is one on main board. I've seen like 1 to 2 in main board, just because it's good against elves, good against fairies, and obviously really good against the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So having that advantage in the mirror can be nice. So draw your 1 main of and bring in those in the sideboard. Also your Castnifiers, if you're in that in the sideboard too.
2 for 1 card is good.
Yeah, I think game 1 you just don't play around the 1 in the Festivities you assume they have, and you just go balls to the wall and try to kill them.
And the Festivities is also a little awkward in that it's sorcery speed.
Yes.
It'll clean up a decent chunk of the board, but it also doesn't kill the Goblin Tomb Raider. It doesn't kill the Burning Tree Emissary.
No, it kills.
So
it kills over half their creatures.
It takes all the tokens and the 1/1s out.
Yeah,
but
they play they play 5 creatures and it kills 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine.
1 mana kill 3 creatures is pretty good.
No, it's still good.
Yeah. Well,
you are still going to take the hit. So
Yeah. Hopefully.
this is just something to keep in mind.
And-
I think in that matchup you're also willing to block a lot more, I think, because you do have a bunch of 2/2s, and outside of a bushwhacker start or a bushwhacker swing to pump up the team, your X2s are quite good at holding off the attackers.
I feel that's something a lot of people forget about. The mono red deck doesn't always have to attack all, press attack all in arena and go in there. I like that you can hold back your 2/2s to block opposing 1/1s, especially if they don't have 2/2s. You're just so ahead on that, and being able to hold up yours to do that, you don't need to push in that, and just
it also makes your end the Festivities better if you do just trade 2/2s for 2/2s and then sweep up everything else after.
Then yeah, that is true. And then there's always they can untap, bolt my blocker or whatever and get them there. But then again, you made them use a bolt not on your blocker, not your face.
Not your face. Yeah.
So in a way, that's fine, and it's having them tap off for mana too. So it's not nothing. I'm trying to think what I would trim in this list. Having synthesizer seems good. Just any amount of gas would be nice. Man, that's hard. Maybe like the 1 Fire Blast. Again, looking at these Voldaren Epicures because I want to bring in these in the Festivity Castnifiers. Yeah, I would be looking to trim Epicures and Fire Blast straight out from this and just draw my 2/2s.
There's also a world where you just ignore what they're doing and just keep a nuts hand and just try to take them out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't mulligan hands to do the thing.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
No.
Right.
You're not mulliganing 2 exactly in the Festivities. If
Right.
your hand does a functional thing, you're going to keep your hand.
Yeah.
If you just and then a byproduct, if you draw the in Festivities, it's very good then.
I just wouldn't fully commit ever unless I think they actually do not have it, because post-board you're probably looking at 6 deal 1 damage effects, and 2 of them being Castnifiers, which can't completely hose you out, but you can get hosed from in the Festivities pretty hard in the mirror, and I would expect that's the main thing you bring in. I don't think I'm looking at Smash the Smithereens or anything. You can let them have their Great Furnaces. There's only 4 of them.
I wonder if there's a theory piece here on whether it makes sense to do kind of minimal sideboarding, depending on the context of what the mirror match is. But if it's like a creature-based aggressive mirror match with some nut starts or whatever, I wonder if you're just better off just trying to continue to do the thing that the deck does and try not to, try not to mess with things too much.
You just over sideboard and you just delete what you're doing. And
Right.
You just become a worse version of what you're doing. And if you're not,
And if your opponent hasn't done as much diluting, then technically their deck has a higher concentration of better cards.
But in that scenario, if my opponent blaz their hand out and Goblin Bushwhackers me with a bunch of X1s and does 10 damage to me, and say they have 2 cards left in their hand, and I'm able to just in the Festivities wipe 1 for 4 of them or whatever, and
I'm not saying you don't bring them in.
yeah.
I don't know about the Cast in the Fires
Gotcha.
though. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I
also good, but
Yeah.
2 mana is a little a lot for killing 2 1/1s or taking out a Great Furnace maybe.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd ever target the Great Furnace that hard. Unless I'm using it as a combat trick. They think they're going to trade my 2/2 into my 2/2.
Make their Tomb Raider a 1/2 now.
Yeah.
if that's the only artifact
that would
they
be
have in play.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That'd be funny actually.
But I get you there. Grixis Affinity.
Another one, another mid range,
Another Blood Fountain match.
Blood. I think a lot of the same rules apply here. This time you do have like blasts and stuff in your sideboards at least that are relevant here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because what key cards are you blasting? Your red blast hit Thoughtcast are the 4 of there, and then your blue blast hit, you have 4 Gal Blast, Karkland Shaman, and Makeshift Munitions. I don't know if I bring in all of those, maybe Opposing Blast at that point too, though. So you can kind of get stuck in that game of like, okay, is this blast increase in value because it hits the opposite color blast? And
I have that thought all the time.
Yeah.
You also have negate in your sideboards as well. Or at least Luffy does.
At least Luffy does.
I love just straight up negate in a Pauper sideboard.
I love it. I actually do. It warms my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, negate is sick. I love it.
Red Blast also hits Cryogen Relic.
You also play a ton of main deck. I think this plays more spell bombs than Jun does, which are also equally important here. You are a Blood Fountain deck. You are still a refurbished familiar deck, so it's still very important here. You don't want it to get like run over by Mirror Enforcers, right? That's gonna just be awful.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I was thinking of a world where I was looking at these unexpected things, and getting those when I'm down on your Mirror Enforcers can be very, very big game.
Yeah.
Or even your Black Mage's Raj token.
Sure.
Very big game.
Or anything you equip it to. If you're on Kenku Artificer, then obviously Unexpected Fangs on an indestructible 3/3, make it a 4/4 indestructible lifelink. That's pretty good too.
So I like the unexpected things in this just because it puts you so far ahead in racing, but then you have to play around like cast downs and Galvanic Blast really hard and just trying to pick your spot with it correct. Because if you go to trade a Mirror Enforcer and you think it's going to be profitable, you unexpected things, they Gal Blast it, that could be pretty brutal for you. So
that's an argument for Blue Blast in a way. Or if you have access to Dispel, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, Dispel.
That could be interesting.
Yeah. I don't think they tend to play Dispel in sideboards over plethora of blast effects, but no, I get you. I feel this matchup can be a lot of trading your board.
It's just positioning.
Yeah. Just trading your boards away and trying to Blood Fountain right back up.
Yep. Who draws more Blood Fountains on more relevant boards?
And I would be less picky with your Blood Fountains in this mirror match normally.
Yeah, just get back what you can.
Yeah,
at least this is my experience. Like I think you just get back what you can, almost as soon as you can. As soon as your opponent does not have the opportunity to like spell bomb you.
Exactly.
Like if you get the opportunity to do something, do it because your chances are not like live very often.
Instead of waiting for Mirror Enforcer, maybe you get familiar Karkland Shaman.
You just get them back.
The untapped Fireball, somebody with makeshift munitions, can be really big in the race.
Yeah, it's really good.
So this is pretty tricky. Another one where it's trying to find your spot to get ahead, or trying to stabilize with like an unexpected things post board. What would you bring in then in the mirror?
I think I would bring in some of the blasts.
Some of the blasts.
I think I would bring in negate as well.
Okay. Do you have?
I like the fangs.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like fangs a lot.
That's fair.
Blast, I'd have to like really think hard about because I'm not super happy to counter a Karkland Shaman or Gal Blast. I think, but I would be happy to counter a makeshift munitions. I'd be happy to counter a
being able to just because your deck often just has like lots of leftover mana on turns, right? Because you are a deck that does like there are turns you just like use a ton of your mana, and just having like 1 mana options to leave open for those crucial spells like that, I think is really good.
Got you. Just continuing to go down the list. I have Rakdos Madness, another matchup where, man, these draw twos seem really good.
They do. I think this one comes more down to the creatures, mostly because of Kitchen Imp.
Yes.
Because a lot of the burn spells are gaining life as well. So this and Sneaky Snacker, like this is going to be a lot longer and grindier of a back and forth burn match than the mono red madness matchup will be, where that's going to be, you're just trying to go fast. And if you can disrupt your opponent, great. This is going to be a lot grindier back and forth because of the life gain, I think. And so that's where the Sneaky Snackers are also important here, but Kitchen Imp adding another angle of not just attack, but also defense, is also pretty cool here too, I think.
No, I agree with that. Again, you really want to draw twos, in this, just because if you're empty-handed and your opponent's not, you are going to lose eventually. Even if they have to point some burn spells at your creatures, they can make up for it for having more draw twos than you. Like it's another one where you have to look at the position of the board and realize, what do I need to hold back to block? The only thing your Epicures are going to block are opposing Epicures.
Yeah,
and
so you probably cut those.
All your creatures, it's interesting, all your creatures will trade into their creatures because of this too.
Right.
You're playing
That's
2 1s and 2
generally
2s.
how mirror matches work.
Well, not really, because you
have all the same creatures.
Yeah, but doesn't mean different creatures can line up.
Yes.
Like again,
Yeah,
like
this
you
one in
look at
particular,
Rally,
yes.
there's 1-1s and 2-2s.
Yes.
Those can trade. Like
No,
one of
I
those can eat the
understand
other
what you're
one.
saying. I'm being cheeky.
Oh, okay. Perfect. But like in this, like all your creatures will trade into each other.
Yes.
That isn't true for all mirror matches, because what was Grix's creatures they play? Mirror Enforcer and Karkland Shaman. I don't know why you're swinging for Karkland Shaman.
Gutsy.
Yeah.
Get toxin analysis in not the way you think.
Again, and then like looking at sideboard, if you're on the freaking unexpected things, that seems pretty good to get a trade out of nowhere. Arms of Adar, any of the -2 effects, you probably don't want to play the -1/-1 effects, because it only kind of hits their snackers and their Epicures, and just the velocity of draw twos is just too high.
I think I can get behind cutting the Epicures post board here.
And this, I would agree with that.
Just killing the snackers that are going to come right back is maybe not ideal.
No, yeah.
Would you consider any graveyard hate specifically for the snackers? I mean, they're also on like Faithless Looting and things like that too.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Just because if they do get ahead on that, you're pretty far behind. Or
because
if that's how their 7 broke out, it was a snacker game plan. Because there's games with deck you play where it's like, oh, I didn't do anything with snacker and I still won.
Yeah.
But if they just have a hand that's like snacker pilled and you let them kill you from that, it's no good.
Yeah.
That is a hard one. White Weenie, I have 0 thoughts on this.
0 thoughts on this. This lots of board stalls. This is lots of jockeying for position. There are good cards in the matchup. I think one of the most important cards in the matchup is actually going to be the Great Sword.
I was about to say
Great Sword is very powerful, especially if because you're most likely it's going to happen in the air.
Yep. On like Core Skyfisher,
you like Core Skyfishers and stuff like that, and tap down the opposing Skyfishers and stuff like that. Being aggressive, I think if you can, you have to basically respect Guardian's Pledge at all times.
I was gonna say the pump effects.
The pump effects in combat will just kill you. Like, you must respect them. Like if they attack a lot and you just don't block, and then you lose the game.
Yeah.
Like you must respect Guardian's Pledge.
Both players, you play Fog too.
You do have Prismatic Strands. So.
It's just pure fog.
Yeah.
Name white. Okay, nothing happened.
Yeah. So.
Exactly.
Trying that, I'm sure you can get interesting spots where you block, and you try to bait out a Guardian's Pledge, and you can try to Prismatic Strands, and you just gotta be wary of their own Prismatic Strands. If they tap out for a certain turn, you're like, okay, maybe this is the only turn I can use my Guardian's Pledge for any value. And then if they probably tap out once it's late in the game, you can bet they just don't have Prismatic Strands in their hand at that point, or they're just mega baiting you and you got God or whatever, like on the next turn. But Thraben Charms get graveyards, which is pretty important.
Thraben Charms kills creatures too.
Yeah,
which is huge.
I mean, if you could stop a Prismatic Strands and a Battle Screech from flashing back is nice.
Yep.
But killing creatures is also very nice. I would agree.
Would you be trimming on the Prismatic Strands post board though?
I think they're great. I don't like them.
Yeah, because naming white is
it's just really
terrible.
It just doesn't do anything.
Outside of the spots, I like the baiting the +2. I that's a little cheeky. That's like kind of the it's one of those off kilter plays you could make that your opponent might not expect. That's like we were talking about earlier.
That's why I don't know if I would cut them. I've never played the deck, but just imagine if we're saying the most important cards are the Guardian Pledges or Chocobos or whatever, and we have the Fog out of nowhere to stop the most important card in the deck.
I don't know. I guess so.
A lot of
I just don't.
I feel like a lot of the value for
very
prismatic
much.
strands for this deck is also being able to just
Trades
win a bunch of trades in combat too.
You're not winning any trades at all.
No, not in the mirror, but against other decks.
Oh,
where, like,
yeah,
they
in
block in a bunch of ways, and you prismatic strands, name a color that makes combat really good for you,
Yeah.
and go from there. But it is something to think about.
Okay, but in these other matches, you're not playing around pumps either, like mass pumps.
True.
So that was my thought process on that. I journey to nowhere because what are you hitting the main thing off that? I mean, getting a chocobo out early seems pretty good.
Yeah.
If they get their Spider-Man out,
That card's kind of whatever. It just like you just
no, I just want
yeah.
to name it.
Sure.
I think a 3/3 outsize is almost everything.
It's okay.
Yeah. If you can get any 2-for-1, that just seems good.
Yeah.
So play your great swords if there's.
Yeah, that great sword's very good.
Great sword, very good.
Did we want to dive into a couple combo decks?
I think elves is another one we should touch.
That falls under combo decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this like more of a race?
Game one, I would
like,
assume.
I
You're just-
Yeah, game one
imagine-
is a race. Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
trying to
like-
get your turn timber watch or your well wisher.
or a very fast initiative and try to ride that into victory if you don't have like a huge mana play or a Nyxborn Hydra or something.
Yeah, I'd imagine that timber watch elves and then or your well wishers or Nyxborn Hydras are just putting so much work and by proxy of that, obviously your Quirion Rangers, Priest Titanias, because that sets up into
Right.
like the big lead the stampedes. Nyxborn Hydra turns, so you are really just racing, and it's kind of hard to say like, we'll do this better than your opponent because this seems. I feel a lot of combo matchups are going to be you're just jamming game one. You got to jam.
I think. Yeah, but I think so. I think
in a lot of
post board. I think the
cases.
first card that comes out of my deck is that Avenging Hunter. Get that card actually out of my deck. I hate that card
Sure.
because like if there are the games like you are not in control of the game and just like that happens and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
like I lose.
they're bad.
And then
bad.
I also think the well wishers or not well wishers the mass vandals.
Yeah, because
They don't
they're
have
really
any-
just hitting Nyxborn Hydra,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's really their only function. I mean, if you just hit like
Which is fine.
yeah, I think I would rather play like Viridian Longbow. That card is much better. That
What do
card's
you-
great.
So like this sideboard I'm looking at randomly, that 5-0 to league, there's no longbow in the list. Yeah.
So I'm looking at a challenge one that did do that. That did play longbow.
If the longbow is the equip deal 1 damage, is that correct?
It's equip tap deal 1 damage. Yeah.
Okay. So in that scenario, the longbow is like very, very good if you're on that.
Yeah, and
Especially with Curing
Curing
Ranger.
Ranger is like insane.
Yeah, very, very. And then if you just have a ton of mana just to move it around too.
Exactly.
It
So I was like,
does
it's
work
like nukes your opponent. Like it can literally just like completely plague wind your opponent if on some turns.
better. But just like generic sideboards, I don't think
There's no like I don't know that there's a generic sideboard. I just like if there's cards that like don't put you far behind, like don't put you back any resources or anything like that, like for an effect, they're probably fine. I just don't think like the 1/3 mass vandal's doing very much, and I don't like Avenging Hunter because you can almost never guarantee that like it's not going to just lose you the game.
Yeah, just looking at sideboards though, there's not like of different decks. There's just not a lot of cards I want to. Like, there's not 8 cards I want to bring in these sideboards for the mirror. Like, this one's wild. Wow.
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of way different sideboards, but
Yeah. Because how many longbows is that list playing?
I was playing 2.
Yeah. And
I think I would just 86 like Avenging Hunters at that point. Like
Yeah.
just the however many they are.
At that rate, if you're bringing in longbows, and if longbows so good, then that is, in a way, an argument to keep in at least some of the masked vandals. If you anticipate your opponent being on the longbow technology.
If they are, yeah.
Could-
Not
Monstrous
everybody is. I
Emergence,
just
yeah. This list is playing Monstrous Emergence. So if you
Wow.
have any of the removal, you bring that in, obviously. But
Oh, Monstrous Emergence is pretty cool with Timberwatch Elf.
yeah.
Pump up the thing, and then it's big enough to fight or take anything out with its damage equal to its power.
All right, let's go.
Or you can reveal the Avenging Hunter from your hand.
Some people play like ram throughs as well.
Yeah. Ram through also very fun.
Hey, if you're playing ram through, you should bring in ram throughs. Like
Move on to Spy, another little fun combo deck of just game one. It seems like you were just be as aggressive as you can and just try to
Yeah.
combo off.
I guess
Again.
so.
That's kind of hard because even interaction post board.
Yeah, you're just like trying to like
get fiends.
Yeah, Mesmeric Fiend is like probably
Fairy
Macabre your like best cards.
Yeah, because then at that rate, it's
because you're still a deck of the core, the Winding Way, Lead the Stampede nonsense. So your goal is to find these pieces of creature interaction, and if you can take their Lead the Stampede with your Mes Fiend, that's pretty big game.
Yeah, I mean, or just stop them from killing you.
Or that too. Either way,
not die when
that,
you
and then
die.
But both of those being pieces of interaction that you can get off of the draw, however many's.
Exactly. Yeah, out of the green draw effects that those all hit. There's some interest in, I'm sure game one you're favored in being the 4-land version over the 5-land version, where you just care about maximizing your combo.
Interesting, yeah.
And then post
because
board,
you have to do it faster.
Post board again, it's kind of interesting. The 5-land deck will be able to play these grindy games a little bit better, where they can cast their creatures. But again, you're kind of hoping your Mesmeric Fiends or your Fairy Macabres just can take you there. And so if you just have a Fairy Macabre and it just gets the brawl aspect, I feel post board the 5-land version is a little bit favored if they're playing the Chrysalises or Avenging Hunters, because the 4-land versions don't really have that backup plan. Their backup creatures are their Sagu Wildlings and their one Troll and their whatever the other cycler is, and
which can get there, but certainly not at the pace and rate of the other ones you mentioned.
So I'm sure post board that gets pretty fun.
Oh yeah. A lot of who blinks first, and let's build up our boards and fight.
Yeah, and then do you start? Oh god, that's really cool. I didn't even think about that. Spy is nuts in the mirror. If they have all their lands out, play Spy, kill you.
Oh yeah, that's actually
pass and draw.
Yeah. Just cast the Spy. Yeah,
Spy gets.
Yeah, we didn't. Wow. Oh yeah, we didn't even think of that.
So maybe if you're the 5-land version, can you play your 5th land? And just try to try to operate on as few lands as possible. Like leave them in the deck so your opponent's Spy doesn't totally own you. You probably don't play all your land grabbers at that point, because you can't just let them Spy and kill you.
That's
because your Fairy Macabres don't do in the mirror. So you almost need to bring in so they don't combo you. Because if they Mesfiend and see that, I don't think you bring in Fairy Macabres, because what good are they?
Well, they still
stop the unfair thing.
But if you're in the post board, are you ever going to Mesfiend? Are you ever going to go for your combo without Mesfiend? Because if you're going for the combo, all the lands you've got of your deck, so you want to Mesfiend first. If you see they have Fairy Macabre, you just take it.
Yeah.
What if they have multiple copies?
Then they got me with their 2 of, I guess. It'd be like that.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out there.
I'm going to hope my Spies can get there by getting them.
All right.
You know? So that's interesting.
It is interesting. I think you still want your Fairy Macabres, though. I think you want to prevent them from winning the game the way they want to win the game.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to blindly do it.
No. Well, I mean, unless you have to. If you're going to lose the next turn or whatever.
When I say I'm not going to get into that. If I say never, I don't mean never. Everybody knows that.
I don't know.
If you're a Magic player, you should know that. That's how I always... That's like the first thing I say when I teach somebody Magic. Is when I'm teaching you things, I'm going to say always and never. That's never true. Because if you're teaching someone Magic and you go, well, you don't do this except for in these 25K scenarios or whatever that will come up 1 out of 10 your games. I'm just not going to say that, because they're going to be like, wow, this game sucks. And that's fair. Like, don't waste someone's time with never do this except for XYZ.
Some control decks, if you will.
Oh, what control decks? Like Coggates?
Coggates is a good one.
Draw Basilisk.
Blue black as well.
Draw Basilisk. I thought we said we weren't going to give that sort of advice, Cameron.
Maybe you did. I didn't say that.
Get lucky. Draw Basilisk. Get lucky. Draw Basilisk.
Yeah. Get good, scrub. I don't know.
A deck
Resolve Guardian of the Guild Pact.
That's also a pretty good one. It's also a pretty good one.
Register Guardian of the Guild Pact.
Some people don't even play it. Yeah, I think you should. I feel like the freeing ability to play one at minimum is really good.
Another matchup I feel your Prismatic Sharons are pretty tricky in
Yeah.
If you're just able to.
This one seems a little more interesting to me, and I don't know why exactly.
I don't either. Because if you're able to make them swing out, and this goes for the mono white mirror too.
Oh, because you have other colored threats. Like you can actually trade off on threat colors too for a turn.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, you play one blue creature. So, yeah, that's true.
So there is ways to get around it.
Again, if you're able to make them swing all out and strands them, and you strands the next turn. That being said, like when we say these things about like strands, it's you want to play around these things too. So make sure you're not just pile on him with a full blown lethal attack and then leave yourself dead to a strands. But if you want to, actually, you have to do this. If you're gonna be dead next turn, obviously do what you got to do, regardless. But so,
I suppose so.
Here's a new heuristic. If you're gonna be dead next turn, just do whatever. That's playing around anything doesn't matter.
Who plays around cards?
Yeah, who plays around cards? In the mirror, I'm sure you probably want to take the aggressive stance in the mirror match. Because there's not, once things are on board, the only way they're interacting with your board is for Journey to Nowhere. So having that...
you have Thraben Charm too, right?
Counter spells, Thraben Charm. So
once
they're on the board,
Once something hits the board.
Yeah.
So just playing aggressive, and again, this is a deck where you want them to interact with your board to an extent. Because if they're Thraben Charming a Squadron Hawk or a Sacred Cat...
Yeah, that's great.
No, I think the Thraben Charms are really going to come in for the ability to nuke the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's really it's
keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Thraben Charm nuking the yard when you've got Prismatic Strand, Sacred Cat, like things like that.
Maybe they make a attack where it's like, okay, they're going to eat my cat, but this will get through, and you can hit their cat, hit their strands.
Yeah.
That puts you in a decent position or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, sideboard in this, these Pyro Hydroblasts look pretty bad. No, I'm kidding. The Pyroblast hits a lot of stuff. It hits opposing counterspells, Brainstorms, Learner Fields.
I think
Modern Age.
I think you board out counters. I almost want to say you board out counterspell.
But then you leave yourself dead to Guardian. You have no answer to Guardian the Guild Pack.
Yeah.
That can be.
Guess
real
we're putting
bad.
an unmake in the board.
Oh God, no!
I love that card.
Jesus, terminate.
Half your deck is dual lands.
Fanged Flames.
Fanged Flames.
There you go.
God.
Then it's exiled.
Yeah, there you go. That is good. Breath weapons seem really good too.
Just,
Sure. Some people are playing the Monarch creatures. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you should board those in.
Yeah, especially again, that's not a bad play pattern if you're able to breath weapon slam a Monarch creature and just be way ahead on board. That being said, trimming gets really hard on this because I don't think I'm big into Journey to Nowhere.
I mean, yeah, if a lot of the creatures are just kind of like, if you are already thinking like, yeah, I hope they use their removal on my creatures, then you don't really want to use your removal on their dorky little creatures either. I kind of just want to like build up a board that eventually will favor you.
Yeah, because if you're bringing in the breath weapons, that's just better Journey to Nowheres in this scenario because Journey to Nowhere or breath weapon will kill everything but the Modern Age. Unless you set yourself up in the position to kill the Modern Age and Outlaw Medic. Right. So, man, maybe breath weapons are only hitting the cats and the Squadron Hawks, so it can get really hard. Yeah. But I still think you bring them in to get yourself ahead in like combat. But trimming, I could see trimming any copy or some number of copies of Thraben Charm and Journey to Nowhere. And card selection seems really good. I like strands because... Man, if you're bringing in breath weapons, are they bringing in breath weapons? Huh?
It's also just free interaction when it's in your bin and you have a white creature. Like, free spells are pretty broken.
Yeah, free spells are pretty broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
game one? You want to be on the aggressive side on that.
Yeah, I like that. What about Fae? Cameron, you gave an example with Fae at the very beginning, but we didn't really get into the deck, and I feel like we would be...
I feel like this is also one of the more interesting...
We'd be rioting in the streets if we didn't.
Interesting mirror matches.
Cameron and I played a couple games last week, and Cameron, you mentioned you've played the mirror before. I think I've played the mirror online at some point. It is there is an element of the blue tempo, get ahead, stay ahead.
There's a lot of spots.
Yeah,
there are.
True. It's
there
true.
are a lot of spots to mess up.
Yeah. Brine Bearer Intruder, I think, gets really good here.
That's what
Any
you
of
want
those
to
stuff,
be.
yeah, those are huge.
The flash blockers, especially Brine Bearer Intruder / Humbling Elder / the artifact version, whatever you're playing.
Wrestling cogwork.
Wrestling cogwork. What cogwork wrestler? One of the,
something like
strike that, reverse it.
I think this is where having the skill of knowing what to play around and reading what cards in your opponent's hand is
huge,
like invaluable.
Yeah,
this is a really a testament of who's played the matchup more. I really believe. I think this might be one of the more important ones in that aspect.
And I'm sure there are some games where it's like, wow, I just wasn't beating that draw or whatever. And it can feel like that.
Sure.
And knowing what to play around is really good. And you already mentioned the Brine Bearer Intruder is so good. That's really what you want to be ninjutsuing back.
Yeah,
because maybe stopping them with an early draw is pretty good.
Yeah, because it does shrink. It shrinks the ninjas so that they don't trigger when they deal combat damage.
I don't know if I love doing that in the first couple turns because you don't want them running away with their ninjas. So do I want to shrink one ninja from hitting me once, or do I want to block with my own creatures and
like down the line and shrink and win in combat
and not trade anything?
Right.
I think that's more valuable than shrinking the ninja.
No, I think so too. But it is something that something to be aware of in your arsenal. The interesting thing to me is, Matt, your opponent's attacking you with a Fairy Seer and a Spell Stutter Sprite, and you have to let one of them through. Like, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to let them get ahead on their draw to set up and be able to stage the next couple threats, or do you want to like let the sprite go unblocked and then they have Spell Stutter Sprite, because Spell Stutter Sprite is really good in the mirror.
I hate to use the this is all contextual. I do actually think all of these decisions are incredibly like.
But it does depend. Like, are you trying? Yeah, it's something that's something to think about. Then, like, are you trying to continue to develop your own threats and or interaction? Then you probably want to block the sprite or deal with the sprite in some way. Let the Fairy Seer through. They'll scry. Okay, cool. We can't get. Maybe they'll scry bottom. It's land. They don't need them. The bottom. Okay, cool. Maybe they're not drawing those lands, which is bad for you. But it could be anything off the top. Who knows? But then at least they don't have the sprite in their hand. Like. But if you're in a spot where you're both kind of running low on gas, and like both of your boards are there's a couple creatures apiece, and you're trying to like trade hits back and forth potentially, then like maybe you do want to block the seer and like you can play around the sprite or something. Like it is very contextual. I agree, but it's tough. Like there's a lot of tricky spots.
A lot of it's trying to position yourself too. You want to set up for early meeting of the minds, not meeting
of one mind.
Yeah, and then.
It is kind of, they are meeting their minds in the art. They're putting their heads together.
You want to...
Single brain.
You want to fight for stuff on your opponent's turn, so they're tapped out and you're able to untap and do something freely, like resolve of
one mind.
Of one mind, or for sure.
That's how you pulled away in a game. You cast like 3 of those over 2 turns, and I was like, I'm never winning.
Yeah. And...
Because it's awkward to spell stutter, because you can't spell stutter it on curves.
So that being said, though, we're trying to maneuver yourself onto, like, where you can untap. Your opponent's gonna be trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that being said, you have to know what's worth fighting for in your turn. If you attack, it's later in the game and you have some mana to spare. Maybe it's you play one of the -2/0 effects to try to have a favorable trade, and they counterspell that. Maybe that's worth fighting over, because that 2-for-1. And then they just played a counter spell and you're fighting for that. It kind of becomes a 3-for-2 at that point. And if you have more cards in hand, that's insane. So,
yeah.
And that's another Croissant is hilarious. Look what I said.
He's upside down.
He is.
Yes, he is.
A weirdo. That one's a fun one and very, very skill testing. Sideboarding stuff in. I'm trying to remember. I didn't have gut shots. Wish I did have gut shots. I don't think my opponent had gut shots either. So thank God.
I play gut shots.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't play gut shots.
I think I play gut shots when I play.
Yeah. In the future, I would also play gut shots. So.
Folks are occasionally running. They're either playing they're either playing all 4 of the 1/2s that flash in and give -2/-0, like 4 in the board, or 4 in the main. Some are on like 3 in the main, 1 in the board. Some are on the 4 with like a 5th one in the board too. So you could bring in that 5th copy for something like this.
Cut your bind the monsters effects. Those are terrible because they're just getting ninjutsu'd in. If the board opportunity becomes good for them, because I guess it doesn't hurt to block them.
What do you mean?
If they swing with the bind the monster creature. Oh, that's the not bind the monster. What's the other one?
Unable to scream.
Unable to
the
scream.
One, yeah. Bind the monster actually might be okay.
I think bind the monster.
The unable to screams or the one, whatever the 1/1 citizen one is from Capenna.
What came up in one of my mirror matches though?
Because they can still attack. Yeah, you're right. They can still attack and ninjutsu those back for sure. Yeah,
but Snap also shuts them off.
It's true.
So.
How do you feel about Snap in the mirror?
I think it's insane in the mirror.
Yeah,
I think it's very good. Yeah.
Okay.
And just another matchup where, again, if you put your opponent in a spot to mess up,
that's a card that can really screw some stuff up.
That's true.
That's a card that'll get you. Like again, the whole swing of 2 ninjas. One of them's blocked. Snap the ninja. Okay, now I have a Brian Burrow intruder back of my hand, or now I have a Spellstorm Sprite back of my hand. And there's the ninja that you thought was blocked is also unblocked now. So like it gets really tricky there. I guess if you have cryo shatter
in the Strix is really cool.
Yeah, but again another one that just doesn't really get around Snap. So I cut all my bind the monsters effects in the mirror. I think maybe I had one left in. I can't remember exactly what my list looked like, just because again the Snap stuff was pretty crazy. Force Spike seemed really good. It's going to be a very mana tight mirror match because there's going to be a lot of fighting and
especially potentially early on in the game too. Yeah, Force Spike, if you're on it, seems pretty good.
Knowing what to trade for was also very important.
Dispel potentially, though the counter spell itself, I feel like it's good, but being 2 mana, it ends up being a little inefficient for how much how much trading happens. So you might want to trim on some of those, and then Dispel gets a little bit more interesting. But even then, you're often fighting with creatures, so it's weird. I mean, Dispel's good against Snap for sure,
because you're probably for sure bringing in like 5 cards max. Like if you have your 4 gut shots, you bring in those in. Mm-hmm. If you have an extra -2 effect, you're bringing that in. So you're looking at like 5 things to cut. I'm looking at my enchantments first because I just think those are the weakest. If your opponent's playing Snap, and then you can kind of start looking at what's not best after that. I love all of the creatures. Like it seems just so creature focused.
Yeah,
it can be hard to trim those. So maybe you are looking at counter spells or Force Spikes.
I like trimming counter spell in the matchup.
Yeah, I can believe that. It was a fun mirror match.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more thought I had about it. Harrier Strix is really nutty in the matchup if you're able to have that loot effect if you get flooded out.
I was like, if it resolves, like having that loot effect is a huge game.
Yeah,
and it can push through blocks too. Just like tap something out of the way.
Yeah.
Just really, really important.
The flood prevention on that card was ginormous because that's another matchup where you're not hitting attack all a lot. You're gonna leave stuff back. Like I'm not presenting that for a trade. Like I'm just not gonna let my opponent have it unless I'm just so far ahead and it's trading against theirs or whatever.
Sure.
Because in that position, it's
you're just clocking like over 3 turns. I will get you down because of where life totals are. Sure.
I don't want you to dig for anything or exactly. So there's a lot of knowing what you don't want to trade for in situations. Maybe your 1/2 human guy doesn't attack for a couple turns until you're able to ninjutsu it or whatever. You just don't want to trade that. But again, a 1/2 body is really good at that matchup because there's a lot of 1/1s and that can attack through it really easily. So they have to have at least 2 1/1s to block it, and that means those 1/1s are swinging at you.
Yeah.
And I was casting my Moon Circuit Hackers a lot when I played the mirror matches.
I noticed that. I picked up on that too. I think I ended up casting one at one point. Like, yeah,
they just ended up just being casted.
Yeah.
Like
it trades, and if it gets to get through, great.
Yeah,
don't disagree.
If you're on like a more old school list with some mutagenic growths, then that could also they're not as good as they once were.
No, I didn't mean it as a bad thing. I mean like as in that's gonna be a blowout.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Get somebody with that.
Exactly. Like I think that's another
spot
-2.
Oh my guy. +2.
And it's free.
Get wrecked, and it's free.
Yeah.
So like, fight this.
Yeah.
You know,
another one.
You don't see that quite as often as you used to, but it's still something people do from time to time. So something to be aware of.
Any other decks y'all were dying to talk about on the I think Red Blue Terror is interesting. I can't really speak to it because I have 0 experience with it, but I bet that's just a blast.
Once you get into the late game where your Screds can just kill anything,
I think
that's really interesting.
Blasts though too.
You do.
Yeah, all the blasts. Oh,
you have 8 blasts.
Yeah. What are you cutting? Counterspells?
Yeah,
Probably.
I think counterspells are
But
not
even
good.
the counterspells against opposing terrors are so good.
Maybe like lose focus if you're on like something like that.
Yeah.
But loose focus just like I don't know. It's good with your mana situation if you're like mana is like not like if you're playing like because you're like you're playing basic mountain in your deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
So like there are some
like
draws
one.
where you have to consider that
Like one basic mountain.
that like loose focus might be a little bit better in counterspell.
I don't know if the deck plays. I'm sure lightning bolt's not great there because like your creatures.
That was my next-
Lightning bolt's not good.
Yeah, my next thought was to trim on lightning bolt.
Yeah.
After that,
You probably want the
abandoned attachments might find its way into that list too, which is pretty
I think
sick.
it does.
Ooh, yeah.
That deck,
Yeah.
that card is very sweet.
That's very cool.
I'm glad I picked those up.
Yeah,
I'm
With,
very
I
excited.
only
to
have
play
two.
those.
I need to find
Snackers in that list and abandoned attachments.
There you go.
Well,
Sure.
does
Yeah, there's this. There's also this like blue black list that's been running around. That's really sweet. By the way.
yeah, I haven't seen that a
yeah.
lot. Like, so
That looks really cool. I got the stuff for that.
the deck was
course
floating
you
around
did.
the challenges.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
A list showed up that you were interested in, James.
I was like, oh yeah. I'm in.
You got the cards already. No way.
Did Hippo? You said what was your favorite mirror match? The Jund one was probably your favorite.
Like that or Grixis. I think those are two just interesting matchups. Like I enjoy just like mid range slogfests. Like that's my thing. That's my thing.
Thomas, did you have any favorite?
I don't know if I have any favorites. It's tough. I feel like I would pick, if I picked one, I would probably pick Terror. I think that it's very, very interesting to try and, the example that I gave of trying to see who will blink first and not falling into the trap of like, I'm just gonna jam and hope you don't have anything, and you finally like interact with that.
Whoa, why is it a
they're
trap?
tapped out. Well, because you play a few enough turns of like trading a couple things back and forth, building up enough multiple counter spells in your hand to then they try to resolve a snake or two, and you say no, and they say no, and then you say really no, and they don't get anything, and then you untap and slam snakes, and you're way ahead. Like it's really fun to set that up.
It's only a trap if they don't have it. Or it's only a trap if they have it.
Right.
Yeah.
And in my scenario, they have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If they just like, oh yeah, the first counterspell resolved, then I'm just still way ahead anyway, and it's still good.
What about you, Cameron?
I think the mono blue Fey matches are really, really fun.
I would agree. I think that was also very interesting.
There was another question I wanted to hear you talk about some things you learned. In
The
retrospect.
least favorite?
Well, you didn't really talk about fog.
Yeah, because
I mean a little bit. You talked a little bit.
It's miserable.
Yeah, just sounds
Stream
pretty
of-
awful.
I don't know. Are you racing for Cryptrats? I think you're just racing for a Cryptrats.
Yeah.
And a way to put a counter on it, and then it just dies to their Cryptrats eventually. And
It seems kind of awful.
I think you're just looking for Stream of Thought. Heapgate and Stream of Thought are probably the best cards in the mirror match, which is so funny.
I think the rest of Sky's email is other questions that we could come back to when we do a mail back.
Yeah, I did see that. That's cool.
Least favorite ones as well.
Fog,
Said
probably.
ones that we don't enjoy. I would imagine mine was probably just some combo decks like just 2 sweeps passing the night. This really doesn't really terribly matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Depends.
At least it ends fast versus Fog. It's like
I suppose.
it's not even 2 sips passing a night. It's like 2 cars going to drag race at a stop sign or a stoplight, and they just both stalled when the light turned green. And there's not much to do. I think Spy sounds cool. Now that when we were talking about that, I think that game of Balashid's probably sick. Of like,
It's really funny.
Maybe you're 4-land Spy and you have 3 lands in play, and you're just sandbagging the 1 land so they don't kill you with their own Balashid Spy. Like, I can't let them know I drew my 4th land. That sounds hilarious to me.
And they Mezfiend you and find out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any like least favorite.
I don't think I have a least favorite. I have from other formats. I have least favorite mirror match.
Yeah.
I have favorites from other formats.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was only because I wanted to play against everything else, because I felt like the mirror match was like in when Spirits and Pioneer was really good that summer, that I did well with it. Like the mirror match was the only matchup I didn't want to face, because it truly just felt like a coin flip, and I did not want to leave my tournament up to a coin flip at any time.
What deck you said?
Like Spirits, like Azorius Spirits and Pioneer. I did win more. I think I was 2-1. I mean, I beat a mono blue player in the first day, but I was 2-1 on the mirror. I beat mono blue and the blue white mirror in day 1, but then I lost my winning into top 8 to the mirror that day. And I was like, I play against anything else, and I feel like I have good plans and it's fine, but the mirror just for whatever reason really felt like a coin flip.
Yeah.
It was one of those that like Did you draw your Shacklegeists and your lords? No? Oh, well.
Meanwhile, I'm over here in my favorite mirror match of all time. Is the Legacy
Living End?
No, it's the Legacy. That is awful, actually. That is pretty miserable.
I watched a very miserable Living End mirror
a
couple years ago.
That was
crazy.
That was awful.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody did. He actually screwed himself out of the game and didn't realize it until it was too late.
If somebody thinks they
funny.
know how to approach the mirror matchup and Living End, they're lying to you.
I would agree. No, it's the Legacy Death and Taxes mirror.
That's fair.
And people
There's a
will
lot
call me
going
a
on.
psychopath. People actually have called me a psychopath for that one. And I'm like, nah, this is fun. This is like the kind of hellscape that people like only
that you
dream
enjoy.
of. Like that only people only dream like having their nightmares. I'm like, oh, this is my jam.
Are you playing Pauper Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm playing Pauper Thursday.
Oh, let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Finally.
finally.
I'm itching. Missed 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
It's at Middle Tennessee Gaming. They're at Pauper League, 7 p.m. on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
Catch us there sometimes. In Bellevue, Tennessee.
God, I really want
It's
to
in the
cast
link.
Fog. Is that bad?
It made me sad.
You can play Fog.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would it make you sad?
Me?
Yeah.
Because I want to go play that white deck.
Oh, God.
Like that deck looks so sweet. Like I played like one league with it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm real hot on it.
I don't know. I can lose.
Yeah. Because you against that deck, because that creature gets big.
It does
quick.
get really
that's
big
true.
really
so
quickly.
like you kind of do have to have
it
enough
every
fogs.
single turn.
Yeah. I guess it is different from Infect. So I was kind of thinking about like my matchup against Infect, and that's just a freaking.
No, this thing is
dog walk.
permanently large.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like, okay, you have a 1/1.
Oh, there was a game.
Walks. What you doing?
So there was a game. I went turn 1 Trailblazer, turn 2 Ethereal Armor.
Yeah,
turn 3
that's fast.
Ethereal Armor, Solid Footing.
Give vigilance.
Sentinel's Eyes.
Yeah.
Kill you.
Yeah.
You're just dead.
Boom.
I guess it's
That
like
deck
kind
is
of like
very
Boggles, where it's like, if I'm alive on turn 4, I don't know how I can lose at that point.
Yeah, this one, like this deck does have the turn 3 potential, so it's pretty sweet.
Gotcha.
Be interesting. Does Mono White get access to anything to fight the fog?
Pro Black.
I mean, if you really wanted to
Well, for Crypt Rats, yeah. No, but I mean to fight against the fog, like a Flaring Pain type of thing.
Oh, I
like
know.
damage can't be prevented.
I think
No.
the Pro
if
Black
you
man's
wanted to
really
play,
good.
if you wanted to be really cheeky and play like
You could
Mana-
also
Mana
put
Tithe.
you could also put the pro green one in, so you can't block with the Colony Garden token.
or Crypt Rats.
Yeah,
you could
well,
put
yeah, the red black. Yeah, that's what Cameron was saying.
Yeah, the black one's like really, really good.
Yeah, because then you also can't like you play cast downs sideboard. Yeah, yeah. The pro red black one's probably pretty good too.
Yeah, I have to imagine
That deck is so sweet.
with the mono white deck.
Yeah, I'm very close to.
Yeah, I can say
having enough cards.
I basically felt like I could not beat blue black Fae at all, and then I was like, I don't think I could.
that tracks.
And then most of my other the other matchups I played, I'm like, oh, I don't think I can lose.
Is it
Yeah.
just the combination of Snuff Out and Spellstar Sprite?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
It's really good.
It's
Then
really powerful.
Rebuying back Spellstar Sprite? is really-
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, that's the same reason why Mono Blue versus Fog, it's really hard for Fog, just because they don't play 8 counter spells. They play freaking 12, 16 counter spells because they're ninjas. Yeah. And so it's like, God, this
Ninja
sucks.
snaps too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the snaps. So plus 2 to 3 more copies of counter spell.
Yeah.
So that gets hard. And
is
if they're on
pretty-
4 spikes, I don't care about 4 spike that much. Like, you can get something early, but it's like, whatever. That's a game where I'm usually have like 50 something mana if it's going well. That's why Ristic studies.
Making treasures with Heap Gate so that you can cast your off-color spells.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
What else would you use it for?
Yeah. It doesn't do anything else.
Man. And I have that Beta Fog I haven't casted yet.
I have a FBB fog I haven't cast yet.
What's it do? I don't know.
I have a foil M11 fog I used to have on my Boggle sideboard.
We should cast it.
Just a cheeky fog.
So for like what
Yeah.
infect? Is it what for just for infect?
I don't know.
mirror?
I don't remember. I don't remember why I was there.
I had to have been for infect.
It was
'cause that
a
match-
one of in my board
that
for a
matchup
bit.
was terrible.
Yeah, there
can't-
were a lot of bad matchups. That deck was pretty bad.
Junda was really bad for you too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ley lines, baby. Ley line
you
of
have ley line in
Sanctity. Counter
Yeah, you have to actually,
counter
so you actually have to put your ley line into
yeah.
play for it to actually do something.
This is just boomer talk for boomers now.
There was a legacy deck that
the
uh,
ley lines deck in Legacy.
it was a graveyard deck, and someone brought in Leyline of the Voids against them, and they brought in or Rest in Peace against them, and they brought in Grindstone and just killed them. That's because it just.
So I've seen jukes like this. One time Justin Mullins got me, and he put what was it? So I was playing Burn, and I knew that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lose Justin Mullins because I'm gonna mulligan to Leyline of the Void. I was playing just Legacy Burn.
Yep.
And there's like it's a red card. It's like something Gambit. And it's like each player reveals their hands or something like this, and like puts a creature into play. Like if you have like a creature to play, you can put it into play. And I'm just like whoever has like the highest power creature can put it into play.
Oh,
and it turns out when you're Burn, you have like not that many creatures.
No, just a bunch of 2/2s.
Well, also you just put them on the table already before they've cast this thing, and then you put a Gristlebrand into play, and then you lose the game.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. He got me. I was like, all right, because he knew he knew I had said something like the night before or whatever.
The hardest I got was playing in an RCQ. RCQ. And it was in the top 4 or playing for top 8, and we didn't know if we could draw yet. And Joe beat the pants off me with rhinos, and I was playing Scam. And I usually like that on Scam side. But he post-boarded, he took out all the rhinos and brought in all the beanstalks.
Yeah.
So my Chalice of the Voids didn't do anything. He was just like this bad Teamer Murktide deck. And I'm just like looking at my cards. I'm like, my cards don't do anything. I'm like, these Dothies aren't that good. These Chalices are really bad. These EEs are
they're terrible.
And I had like an EE Chalice start, and it was just like, oh, you just beat the crap out of me.
Joe Mitchell is a powerful,
he's a powerful magician.
And then we drew. Thank you, Joe.
He's a powerful magician.
He's a very powerful magician.
He's who y'all have to thank for Cheap Hotel at the Common Ground Cup.
Yeah.
Saturday, January 31st. Game night, Tennessee.
Let's get him.
Come
out.
and play some Pauper. That would be great.
Dude,
I'd love
if
to
he wants
see
to
Joe
play,
in the streets.
if he wants to play, I'd split his entry.
Oh yeah,
between
yeah.
the
No,
three.
absolutely.
he does not have to pay for entry if he wants to
Yeah,
play.
Jesus Christ. Hear that, Joe? He's not listening.
No, he's not.
He used to come out for Pauper in the monthlies. I remember that.
Every once in a while,
I
yeah.
think his husband would come out too, so I think that's why.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Drew? Was it Drew Carlson?
Yeah, how do we get them to the tournament? The power couple.
How do we get them there?
Nashville's. Yeah.
I could get Drew there.
I bet you could.
I bet I can get him there.
Beg. All right, we'll start. Everybody text Drew. No.
Are you going to the Common Ground Cup?
You made it this far. Thank you so much for listening. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, you can email those to us at commongroundmtgpod@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord and ask us those questions there. We like your questions and make whole episodes out of them like this one. Thank you so much, Sky.
Thank you, Sky.
Thank you so much.
Oh, we played a really good mirror match, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, the last time that Sky and I played was the Jund. Or that we played a mirror match when it was the Jund Broodscale mirror match. How absolutely miserable that is. Good golly gracious, that was awful.
Really?
Yeah, like I comboed and then didn't have a way to win. And it really sucked.
Bad beats, I guess.
I guess, yeah. It was like,
tell ya.
I was like, well, that's real unfortunate.
No, we played the mice mirror match, and that was pretty fun.
Oh, in standard.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is really
Those
fun.
were hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just turns where you just tank for like it's kind of like, okay, kind of stall. All right, now the game began, kind of thing. Those are fun. Yeah, Discord, join us there. Discord, email. There's tournaments coming up. Lots of opportunities to go play Pauper.
Mm-hmm.
Come get on coverage. Come get your matches commentated by us.
Yeah,
and we can be like, whoa, that was sick.
Whoa, let me see your mismatched set of Squadron Hawks.
Oh, I saw something that'd be funny to do for a prize. So, one of the Grassroot Cube events did a really funny prize of whoever traveled the longest distance got this trophy or whatever.
Ooh.
Like it was just like a rock glued to a pedestal, which is kind of cool. I think it'd be funny to do something like that if we can like get some stamped cards or something. Be like, all right.
I had a thought to
saw
potentially...
the rumblings. I saw the stamp card thing happening in the Discord. I was like, ooh,
that looks very
exciting.
That was seeing Seed Machine.
Yeah.
From Luke. That's
still
cool.
cool.
We just need to find somebody with a CNC machine.
I had an idea of potentially also having like an additional prize for like either the highest placing like true brew in the room or just like the sweetest brew in the room or something like that. I thought that would be pretty cool to do too.
Do a couple things.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
but
can do a
that
couple
prize would
things.
be like, yeah,
Yeah.
like if it like brew prize has to be like some dog playable card, or like some build around that's not that good. You know,
We'll figure it out. We're also going to talk about that down the line too. But
that'd be
hell
fun.
yeah.
All right, get out
Cool.
there and
Have a good time with your life.
yeah, there you go.
Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Thanks for listening, fam.
Later. Go search for purpose.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Speaking of cube, that your cube that we drafted.
I had a blast. It was fun.
I have very much enjoyed my 2 experiences so far.
It was
Of
funny.
not a
'cause it's
peasant.
like,
This is
Yeah.
there's like 15 card change maybe. Too.
it feels way
hilarious.
different, and
Isn't that great?
I love the feel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do too. Season
been a lot of
Pass is
fun.
hell of a card.
Not even just that, like that is a sweet card, but like
yeah, no, I've had fun.
yeah, this is
you what?
cool.
Pack one War Leaders call?
No, I pack one pick one to Flame Tongue Kavu.
Okay.
This last time, would you were like a Boros Beats deck, yeah,
Yeah,
and you just lost to Dan.
his
Yeah,
deck was
Dan 3-0.
cracked.
Dan's-
His name was very good.
Yeah, his deck was sick.
It's funny. We
played.
drafted. Is it next to each other?
Yeah, which is
I had a
hilarious.
very scrappy, weird version. That
Yeah,
I
we would have.
I kept
feel like our
bad
games
hands.
would have been close, but
If I had mulliganed,
I just
if I
got
had done the smart thing.
Sling Gang Lieutenant is a hell of a card.
Yeah, that
especially when you're
would
just
Blood
looking
Artist
back.
and
Yeah.
getting it back. That's
It's
pretty
just,
sick.
I was like counting, like, okay, I can 10 ball you
Yeah.
here, and
When I draft the green black deck, I have not prioritized the sacrifice stuff as much, but you ended up with the sacrifice stuff and some combo pieces as
Yeah,
well. So you
yeah.
had more like combo angle with the graveyard value stuff, where I just like kind of when I drafted, I'm mostly tunnel visioned on like spider spawning all the value. You also had spider spawning because it's just a good card.
Very.
Yeah.
My deck was sick. Like you said, I was green black. I had
Yeah.
one white card in Rosy Cotton because that goes infinite with Basking Brood Scale, and then I had the Sadistically as well. And Joseph, who was sitting next to me, was also in black green splash, like one white card, one red card, and Writhing Chrysalis.
Yes.
And so it was kind of funny. And both of our decks were really good. Both of your decks, Dan.
Yeah.
Thomas and Dan, your decks were really
Yeah, yeah.
good. So that
I
was
feel like most
cool.
everybody's deck was pretty good.
Everyone's deck looked fun anyway.
Made
Yeah.
it to the trophy match against Dan. And game 1, I turn 3 Basking Brood Skill combo. Couldn't beat that.
Sick.
And game 2, he beat the crap out of me. And game 3, we were actually having like this really good back.
Yeah,
and
it looked
forth.
like quite a game.
He tapped out, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for like Basking Brood Scale, Rosy Cotton, and I had no white mana because I had 4 white lands to cast Rosy Cotton, and I had to play a Jewel Thief to make the treasure to be able to cast Rosy Cotton, and that gave me exactly enough mana to start the combo. And he's like, wait. He's like, walk me through this like slowly. He's like, how's this work? I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, that first trigger I'm gonna stack. I'm gonna sacrifice 2 mountains. I'm like, no. He's like, I'm gonna Fire Blast Basking Brood Scale.
Yes.
And I didn't have the
Oh,
mana
yeah.
to like evolve it or anything.
Yes.
So I'm just like, oh, it was really cool. So I couldn't be happier losing to that.
Yeah.
I heard him playing against Anna, I think, and same thing. He's like, wait, 1 second. That on the stack, I'm going to sacrifice 2 mountains. I'm going to Fire Blast your face, trigger Gutter Snipe. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also he demolished me 2-0. His deck was very strong.
Heck yeah.
The highlight of my deck was Tribute Mage. That's the one that's the 3 mana 2/2 in blue that searches for an artifact that costs exactly 2 mana. And I had Shrine of Burning Rage, which is what I got sometimes. But most of the time, I just went and got Ichor Wellspring. So I had a good thing to pair with my Esper Zoa.
And you had the land to bounce the wizard back too, which was
Yes,
cool.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
the Arcane or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Riptide Lab.
Yeah, Riptide Laboratory. Yeah, I had that with Aether Channeler.
My-
Fairy Seer's a wizard. Fairy
Oh yeah,
Seer, Pauper
Fairy
Stable,
Seer's
that's a wizard.
That is a wizard.
Yeah. I also, though, against James, because I lost to James in the final round, which was very funny because I pyrokinesis to like kill multiple
that was so
creatures,
funny.
and he just
No, I stopped you. I was like,
You're like,
this is like
those are
this
your
is
targets?
This is your targets. This is how much damage.
it's
He's
like,
like,
yes.
yeah. I'm like, Pride of Conquerors with the City's Blessing.
instant speed +2/+2 to your entire team, and I was like, well, and then I have to chump block everything and go to like 5, and then I'm just dead the next turn. It was very funny. We were both laughing. It was great. But
Patience
against you
was a virtue.
because Tribute Mage actually ended up being really sick. I considered sideboarding in my Lore Seeker, the 2-mana 2/2 artifact creature that like lets you draft a whole other pack in the draft, just to have another creature to trade with your wide board, like because I can get a 2/2 off of Tribute Mage.
That's funny.
But I didn't end up doing it.
I do like how the cubes turn out a lot. A lot of my favorite things are good, like grindy, blinky, Esperzoa, gate stuff's really good, and then like blistering, kill you fast aggro decks too, which I also am a slut
Graveyard
for.
value,
all
blue
that
base
fun
control
stuff.
decks. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
cool.
there is.
Cool. I hope y'all enjoyed this lovely cube rant at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, are you gonna put it in
I'll
the
put
end?
it at the end,
And
yeah.
we did a magic trivia beforehand, which was really fun.
Oh my god.
I got super baked months
boy.
ago and made it, so like
You
I
did.
didn't know what was gonna be in it. I'm like, I don't really remember too much of it.
It was very funny.
It was, and then the screen kept disconnecting because it was screen sharing on the laptop to the TV, and it kept disconnecting. It was a mess, and
It was very funny.
had like a random bird question in there.
You did?
Like a picture of a male and a female cardinal. Which one's male? Which one's female? Which everybody got right. Very impressive, everybody. Good job. There's funny stuff. Who had the most Pro Tour wins? And I had a picture of Drew Carlson on there.
There you
Top
go.
8s, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
not Drew Carlson.
No.
Crap like that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it was fun.